All right, let's talk about Amazon. Have you ever wondered what it actually takes to land one of those super competitive AI research scientist roles? I mean, really get inside the process. Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're decoding the whole thing, from the first application to the final offer, by following someone who just nailed it. So let's jump right in.
So, what's the secret sauce? What's the formula to get hired by Amazon Science? This is a question that thousands of incredibly smart researchers are asking themselves every single year. And today, we're going to find the answer. We're going to break down the actual real-world journey of one candidate who made it through, step by step.
Okay, first things first, we have to look at the anatomy of a top candidate, right? Because before you even get a chance to ace the interview, your profile, your resume has to cut through all the noise. And to do that, we're going to follow the story of a candidate named Shubhashi's Roy Deepta. Let's see what a profile that gets noticed really looks like. So this is Shubhashis. He's the one who successfully navigated the entire tricky hiring process, and he's all set to join Amazon Science as an applied research scientist intern. His experience is basically going to be our roadmap for this whole explainer. It's going to show us a super clear path to success. So, what's the foundation of his profile? Well, it all starts with some serious academic and research excellence. You've got a PhD candidate in computer science, and his focus is on two massive fields: natural language processing, or NLP, which is basically teaching computers to get a handle on human language, and computer vision. This kind of specialization is absolutely critical. It screams to Amazon, hey, this guy can jump in and contribute to our most important projects from day one. But here's what's really interesting. It's not just about the books. Academia alone isn't enough these days. He balances all that theory with some really diverse real-world experience. I mean, look at this. A research internship at Scale AI, founding his own e-commerce platform, and on top of that, more than 3 years in the software industry. That combination is just so powerful because it proves he's not just a theorist. He can bridge that crucial gap between pure research and actual commercial products. And holding all of this together, the bedrock of it all, is a solid foundation of raw technical skill. A history in competitive programming that's not just some random line on a resume. No way. It's a massive signal to recruiters that says this person can solve insanely complex problems, do it efficiently, and do it under pressure. So you see, it's not just one thing. It's this killer combo of deep academic knowledge, real-world application, and that pure, raw problem-solving ability that makes a profile like this pretty much irresistible. Okay, so profile like that gets your foot in the door. But then you gotta prove it. And that brings us to the next big piece of the puzzle, the Amazon interview gauntlets. Let's break down exactly how you navigate this multi-stage hiring process based on the exact steps Subhash just went through. So here's the high-level roadmap of the whole journey. It kicks off with an online assessment. Then you've got 2 pretty intense machine learning interviews, and it all wraps up with a one-on-one session with the manager. 4 stages, each one designed to test something different. All right, the first hurdle, the online assessment. You can think of this as the bouncer at the door, right? It's a preliminary screening. They'll give you 2 pretty easy LeetCode problems, and the whole point is just to check a box to make sure you have the basic, fundamental coding chops to even be in the running. Okay, if you pass that, you move on to the first real interview. This is the ML deep dive. And here, they're digging into your theoretical knowledge. They're going to ask about core concepts like overfitting, transformers, those super powerful neural network architectures. And of course, large language models, or LLMs. But, and this is super important, there's also a critical piece, the leadership questions. At Amazon, it's not just about what you know, it's about how you work, how you lead, and how you collaborate. It's just as important as your technical skills. So you can really see how the interviews build on each other, right? Phase 1 is all about the why. It tests your foundational understanding of ML theory. But then, Phase 2 takes it to the next level. It's all about application. They combine that theory with practical coding by throwing an easy LeetCode problem right into the interview. It's their way of making sure you can not only talk the talk, but you can actually walk the walk. Or in this case, write the code. And then you get to the final conversation. The great thing here is that it's not really a test anymore. It's a conversation. This manager one-on-one is all about fit. I mean, think about it. At this point, they're already sold on your skills. Now they just want to see if you're the right person for their team. And remember, it's a two-way street. It's also your chance to ask them about their work and see if it's a good fit for you. All right, so you've crushed the interviews. You made it through. So what happens next? Well, now we get to what can honestly be the most nerve-wracking part of the whole thing, the waiting game. Let's take a realistic look at the hiring timeline. Okay, let's really break down the pacing here because it tells a fascinating story. You submit the online assessment and then crickets for about a month and a half. So, rule number one is patience. But then, look what happens. Once you get that first invitation, it's an absolute whirlwind. The next interview is just a week later. The manager chat is a week after that. The verbal offer actually came in just 2 weeks after that first interview, even before the final written offer was ready. This is so key. You have to be patient for a long time and then suddenly be ready to go, go, go. So we've looked at what a top candidate looks like. We've walked through the interview gauntlet. We've even broken down the timeline. Now for the most important part. What does all of this mean for you? Let's boil this whole journey down into some clear, strategic takeaways that you can actually use.
Okay, here are the key lessons. The big takeaway is that success in this whole process isn't random, it's engineered. So first, build that multifaceted profile. Don't just be an academic. Blend it with research and real industry work. Second, you have to master the fundamentals. Your ML theory and your LeetCode skills are totally non-negotiable. Third, don't sleep on the behavioral questions. Really prepare for questions tied to Amazon's leadership principles. Fourth, and this is a big one, leverage your network. Remember, the initial application here was made through a referral. And finally, just be mentally prepared for the rhythm of it all, the long waits followed by those quick sprints. If you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this quote. The journey from application to offer is a marathon of preparation and a sprint of execution. It really is the perfect way to think about it. You're putting in months, maybe even years, of hard work to build your profile and your skills. That's the marathon. So that when that intense, week-long sprint of interviews finally hits, you are absolutely ready to go.
So there you have it. We've laid out the complete blueprint based on a real success story. We've seen the profile that gets noticed, we've walked through the process step by step, and we've pulled out the key lessons for success. So now, really the only question left is the one for you. What's the next step on your roadmap?